Welcome back to more Let's Play Pokemon LeafGreen. Last time, we did a whole bunch of farming, and man, let me tell you, our team is looking darn good. Today, we're going to be doing a little bit of prep, and then starting our journey toward the Indigo League. First things first, there's actually something I missed all the way back at Pokemon Tower. Admittedly, I always forget this item is here, and you can't actually get it on your first visit here. Namely because, remember where Mr. Fuji was standing, the guy who gave us the Pokemon flute? If you use the item finder... Oh, the item finder's shaking wildly. There's an item buried underfoot. You find the Soothe Bell. This is a held item for a Pokemon that increases the friendship they gain as you basically dupe anything that increases friendship. Pretty cool, huh? Otherwise, let's use an escape rope and head to the next little thing. And I tell you, it's been forever since we've been back in Lavender Town, but this'll probably be the last time we're here for even longer, if I had to guess. Otherwise, the next place I want to stop on our journey is actually Celadon. Now, because we did all of that farming, we had a whole bunch of money. And look, although we've already gotten Porygon from the prize exchange, I went ahead and spent, basically every Pokédollar we own. We're flat broke. But for doing that, I managed to gain quite a few coins, and there's some TMs I want to pick up. Namely, I want TM13, Ice Beam, because I mean, come on, it's the premier Ice-type move, and I want TM24, Thunderbolt. Now that we've spent every single penny to our name, more or less, you can imagine where I'll be putting these TMs to use. First and foremost, good ol' Ice Beam. This is going to be Zinx's new best friend. Although Ice Punch was pretty good, 95 power and 100 accuracy really shouldn't be overlooked. Also, interestingly, Locke and Arthur could also learn this. So, if I wanted to give Locke a better move than Aurora Beam, I certainly could. And if I wanted Arthur to have an Ice-type move, this would be a pretty good choice. Though, like I said, Zinx is our Ice user, so she gets first dibs. Now look, as much as I like Ice Punch, the extra 20 power is really going to help. So, here you go, Zinx. 1, 2, and poof! Zinx forgot Ice Punch, and machine set. Wow, wow, wow. She's learned Ice Beam. Hooray. Very nice. Now, the other big thing. I know early in the game, I teased that King would eventually become the King of Earthquakes. And originally, this was true. Earthquake is an immensely powerful move. 100 power, 100 accuracy, 10 uses, ground type move. This would have been a phenomenal move had I decided to keep King. But as we used Arthur, I decided he should have this. With his attack being so incredibly high, Arthur's going to be a much better Earthquake user. So, he gets to have it. Overall, let's get rid of Dragon Rage. A measly 40 HP guaranteed is nothing compared to the sheer damage that Arthur will be able to do with Earthquake. Trust me on this. Although it still would have been really good on King, it's going to be so much better on Arthur. Otherwise, the Thunderbolt TM. This was one that, frankly, I also intended on giving to Arthur, and I still probably will. Though, overall, I want him to keep Thunder Wave, and there's one other issue with him replacing King. Unfortunately, someone needs to know both Strength and Rock Smash. While we could teach it to Cabbage, that would get rid of Cut, because I would probably use the Move Deleter and give him this overcut, which would be better, but I would like to make sure we keep that. So instead, Arthur's going to be learning both Strength and Rock Smash. It's not my favorite thing. So for now, we'll get rid of Wing Attack, because frankly, we already have Tiamat, who's going to cover the flying type effectiveness just fine. Arthur really doesn't need it, so he'll be much better off with Strength. Otherwise, the real downer, Rock Smash. Look, this is a frankly terrible move, and again, while Cabbage could learn it, it's just terrible. So, we'll be giving it to Arthur. Look, I really don't like doing this, but this means that he's not even going to have a Dragon-type move. Eventually, we will find something that could replace Rock Smash should I decide to get rid of it, and maybe get rid of Cut on Cabbage or something. But for now, this is going to be Arthur's moveset. It's not what you would think of when you look at a Dragonite, but, well, with 204 attack, having all physical moves is going to be really good. Besides, this is kind of what King did anyways. He was a very mixed attacker that used a whole bevy of moves that weren't his type. So, why not do it with Arthur when not only does he have better typing, he also has basically double the attack? Sure, King wouldn't have been too far behind, but look, Arthur's seriously is going to be way better. Plus, without Poison Point, I don't have to worry about Arthur accidentally knocking out a Pokemon we want to catch, so I consider that an added bonus. Now, there's one last thing we need to go clean up, which works perfectly. This is something you couldn't have gotten on the first visit to the gym either. Back in Viridian, should we go back to where good old Giovanni stood, we can find yet another item. Something that you wouldn't really think he would have, and something that you wouldn't have thought to really come back here for. I mean, seriously, you just beat the gym and no other gym leader leaves. However, Giovanni is unique. Later on, he will eventually leave this spot. Having lost in this fashion, I can't face my followers. I've betrayed their trust. As of today, Team Rocket is finished forever. As for myself, I shall dedicate my life to training again. Let us meet again someday. Farewell. So yeah, you talk to Giovanni, and he leaves. This is one of the only gym trainers that does this. Or well, gym leaders. So, when he leaves, use the item finder. Oh, it's shaking wildly. There's an item buried underfoot. It's the Macho Brace. This is an incredibly unique and incredibly helpful item. The Macho Brace is an item to be held by a Pokémon. It promotes strong growth, but lowers speed while it's held. Now, what it means by strong growth is that it doubles the EVs you gain from fighting any Pokémon. If a Pokémon would drop 1 EV, they give 2. 2 EVs becomes 4, and 3 becomes 6. However, it mentions it lowers speed. When it says lowers, it means it cuts it in half. So, keep that in mind. It's a super useful item if you plan on training up a new Pokemon from the ground up and you know what EVs you want. Otherwise, I guess I never went over the Soothe Bell. This is also an item to be held by a Pokemon. It's a bell with a comforting chime that makes the holder calm and friendly. Like I said, it increases any friendship gain that you otherwise would have. Walking around, battling, using items, it does it all. So I mean, I described it, but I never gave you the item description. So, there you go. Otherwise, that's pretty much everything I wanted to do before we went out and made our journey into the Indigo League. Or well, up to it, I should say. Now, I already gave you a fair warning. At this point on, if you're not leveled, you might seriously want to consider going back and doing so, which evidently we did. It took way too long. But hey, we're here, so let's march on forward. Otherwise, be prepared. What? Bread! What a surprise to see you here. So, you're going to the Pokemon League? You collected all the badges too? That's cool. Then I'll whip you, Bread, as a warm-up for the Pokemon League. Come on. So, if you didn't fight him in the beginning, you'll fight him now, regardless of if you did or didn't. And let me tell you, Blue is badder than ever. He's got a wicked team. Luckily, we've out-trained him for now. When we see him again, he's going to have Pokemon in the 60s, so be warned. The game seriously ramps up from Giovanni, and if you went straight from him to here, there's a good chance you're gonna get your hind handed to you, so be careful. Still, look at that experience. Man, is it good. Also, wow, he's sending out 2 Pokemon that are weak to ice? Huh. Well, makes my life a lot easier. Also, he could have had a Rhydon, but he kept a Rhyhorn for some reason. Don't know why, but sure. What else you got, Blue? A Charizard. Yeah, that's a little scary. So, Locke, I think you'll be more than enough to handle him. Now, we could send out Arthur, but frankly, he doesn't have a great way of dealing with Charizard, though he'll also resist fire damage. So, it wouldn't be a bad pick. This is also one of the reasons I considered giving him Thunderbolt, and eventually, I think I will replace Thunder Wave for Thunderbolt, just so that way Arthur can deal with Gyarados. That's going to be a seriously big issue. In fact, he's going to be an issue in this fight too, because we really don't have a great way of dealing with him. Still, as you can see, even being 3 levels lower, Locke is still plenty enough for Charizard. Hit him with a quick attack and be on our way. I tell you, all those strength EVs really go to making quick attack actually pretty darn strong. So, it wasn't a total waste. Ooh, Execute. Again, another strange one that Blue hasn't evolved yet. You really think he would have by now. So, we could stay out and I guess use Aurora Beam? Sure, let's give it a shot. It's not a great idea, but frankly, it was more than enough. After all, we did do a lot of training for a reason. What else you got, Blue? The big bad Alakazam. Oh boy. Now look, Locke isn't a terrible Pokemon to deal with him. Frankly, this is another one we really don't have a great way of dealing with. So, I guess let's just use Surf and see what happens. Also, there he goes, buffing up with Calm Mind, typical Alakazam moves. And look at that. It barely did half his health. Alakazam's a bit of a special monster, both in terms of offense and defense. Thanks for disabling my Surf. That was kind of the last thing we needed. Still, we should be relatively okay. Honestly, let's use Quick Attack. Frankly, even with it not being our primary attack stat, it's still pretty darn good. Still, be careful. That Psychic did a lot of damage. I don't know if Locke will take another one, but we can just deal with Alakazam and not have to worry about that. Sounds good to me. And of course, Big Bad Gyarados. Man, this is the one I've not been looking forward to. Frankly, this is probably a really good Pokemon for me to use Acid Armor on. Because if he uses Hydro Pump, we'll heal. There's no way Gyarados can hurt us unless he starts using physical moves, basically. So, sharply raising our defense isn't a bad idea. Realistically, Locke is kind of one of our best bets for fighting Gyarados. Even though we can lower our defense, we've raised it effectively 3 stages out of a possible 6, and we've got quite the head start. Now, unfortunately, the issue is that Locke really doesn't have a great way of damaging Gyarados. Though him setting up Rain Dance will make it so that Surf will do more damage. It's not going to be terribly effective, but, well, with a crit, it'll certainly hurt. So, that's good. Ooh, and there he goes, setting up Rain Dance, probably to boost Hydro Pump's power. Also, he knows Twister? Huh, interesting. So yeah, admittedly, Locke is pretty good against Gyarados. Still, I would like to have Thunderbolt on Arthur eventually to deal with him. Still, good job, team. Looks like all that training wasn't wasted. Nice. What? I was just careless, you. Yeah, we've heard it before. That loosened me up. I'm ready for the Pokemon League. Fred, you need more practice. But hey, you know that. I'm out of here. Smell ya. Right. And frankly, what he says isn't entirely wrong. I feel like that's them trying to say, hey, make sure you are ready for what's to come. Granted, there is the final dungeon, Victory Road, before you hit the Indigo League. So you at least have a little leeway, but it's not going to give you that much EXP. Still, it's helpful. And, oh, that's the Boulder Badge. Go right ahead. Here comes the Gauntlet. You could have technically come here at any point with any of the badges and seen how far you could get. It could have been a fun little thing to do throughout the series, but frankly, there's really not much of a point. You can pass here only if you have the Cascade Badge. Oh, that's the Cascade Badge. Okay then, please, go right ahead. Thanks. You know, I do gotta wonder, do you guys get paid well just standing out here? You can pass here only if you have the Thunder Badge. Oh, that's the Thunder Badge. Okay then, please go right ahead. Hey, we certainly will. Thanks, guy. I want to say there's probably some hidden items here. There might be one here. Yeah, Lepaberry. Very nice. There's probably some things with the item finder, but frankly, I'm not too worried. You can pass here only if you have the Rainbow Badge. Oh, that's the Rainbow Badge. Okay then, please go right ahead. Thanks, guy. So, from here on out, you better have Surf. Still, shouldn't be an issue. You can pass here only if you have the Soul Badge. Oh, that's the Soul Badge. Okay then, please go right ahead. We certainly will. I want to say, interestingly, you can encounter Pokemon here. So, if you didn't find Tentacool or some of the various fish, you could find them here. You can pass here only if you have the Marsh Badge. Oh, that's the Marsh Badge. Okay then, please go right ahead. So yeah, it's kind of cool that there's this huge epic walk up to the end. It's really sweet. And of course, there's grass here. So, you can find a new Pokemon, Sandslash. Admittedly, this worked out fairly well. I kind of forgot they were here, to be honest. So, let's use Lovely Kiss and see if we can put them to sleep. That would be very helpful. Good. Now, admittedly, I'm not super worried about Sandslash fainting if I use a weaker move. So I guess let's send out Locke and use like a quick attack or something. Good, he's still asleep. That's what I like to see. Unfortunately, because Sandslash is ground type, we can't use Thunder Wave, so that's kind of a bummer, but it should be fine. Oh yeah, that did next to no damage. I mean, hey, he does have really good physical defense, so frankly, if you were looking for team members this far into the journey, you could do worse than Sandslash, that's for sure. Plus, if you didn't use your Earthquake TM, Sandslash would love to have it. They're actually a pretty darn good user of Earthquake, all things considered. Plus, as you can see, they have a bunch of physical moves already, so you know they're geared toward physical attack. Otherwise, feel free to heal on up, Locke, and then frankly, we might just start chucking Pokeballs and seeing if it works. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. We have 150 of them, after all. Plus, because this is Leaf Green and Fire Red version, I really don't have to worry about catching too many difficult things, namely in Red and Blue, or Yellow, depending on, what you're playing on the Game Boy. Heck, even Green if you were in Japan. I don't have to worry about catching Moltres coming up, so, frankly, all the rest of our balls are going to be serviced quite well trying to catch, Sandslash and other Pokemon that are coming up. Yeah, I might need to lower you a little more. Yeah, use your Fury Swipes. I get it. Man, did you get the whole 5? Jeez. Good luck for you. So, I mean, that's cool. Alright, let's use another Quick Attack. And maybe even one more? And man, you're still using Poison Sting? Ugh. Granted, it did its job. It poisoned us, so I can't fault you too much. Annoying, but it is what it is. There we go. Now you should be nice and easy to catch. Also, it is weird that a lot of poison type moves find their way onto Pokemon that aren't poison types. And that even having used a poison type through a pretty big majority of our journey, it never learned one poison move. Isn't that weird? I tell you, Generation 1, or in this case Generation 3, still, it's a Generation 1 game. It was a very different time for Pokemon. Still, we caught Sandslash. Number 28, the mouse Pokemon? Curls up into a spiny ball when threatened. It can roll while curled up to attack or escape. Frankly, I would have assumed it should have been called the Armadillo Pokemon, or even Spiny Hedgehog or something. I mean, look at it. That doesn't exactly scream mouse to me. Oh well, into the box you go. Yeah, that's one of the few new Pokemon we can find. Otherwise, the rest should actually be in Victory Road proper. You can pass here only if you have the Volcano Badge. Oh, that's the Volcano Badge. Okay then, please go right ahead. Thank you very kindly. Ooh, and I forgot to heal Locke. Silly me. Let's take a look here. Should be nice and up here. Yep, there we go. If you hadn't noticed, I took the time to organize some of our items. It was kinda irking me, so I went ahead and organized them. So there you go, Locke. You can have some water. And some more water. And oh, why not? Have a third bottle of water. After all, we got them to use them, so may as well. And yeah, I feel like there'd be a hidden item or something around here, but again, I didn't really bother checking. Maybe here? Hey, a full restore. Wow. That's actually pretty darn good. I'll take that. And, I can only guess there'd be things here, but I'm not too worried. You can pass here only if you have the Earth Badge. Oh, that's the Earth Badge. Okay then, please go right ahead. So, once you've come this far, if you had every single badge, don't forget to check this little spot up here. After all, there's a nice little citrus berry, a very good held item. Otherwise, Victory Road Gate leads to the Pokemon League. So, here's basically your penultimate test. Victory Road. Luckily, and thank goodness they were nice about this, you don't need Flash in here. Oh man, if you needed Flash, this would be terrible. Also, hey Onyx, frankly, if you didn't find an Onyx earlier, now's not a bad time to do it. Though, I will warn you, these Onyx, and frankly, every Pokemon in here, is, well, they're all high levels. You're gonna have a pain catching them. Or well, you know, it's not gonna be fun. Anyways, Zinx grew to level 51. She gains 2 HP, 1 attack, 1 defense, 2 special attack, 2 special defense, and 3 speed. Good job, gal. And she's trying to learn the move Body Slam. Huh. While it's not a bad move, 85 power, 15 PP, 100 accuracy, and it can paralyze, I think I'll keep what we got. Though to be honest, it might be better than Lovely Kiss. It does damage and inflict a status. Nah, I'll just get rid of Body Slam. We don't need it. We have ways of inflicting paralysis right now. So yeah, anyways, like I was trying to say, If you want to catch Pokemon here, by all means, feel free. Just understand that because they're such a high level, they're going to be a little more difficult to catch and give you pain. So, you know. By which I mean, you know, quite literally, they're going to be beating you up as you're trying to catch them. So, don't be too surprised if you, might have a Pokemon or two faint if you're not using the right type matchups. Like I said, it's not exactly easy. It's not the hardest thing, but, if you're this far in the game and you haven't caught an Onix or, you know, a Machop, I don't think Pokedex completion is, something you probably care too much about. Though I will say, all of these Pokemon at this point, they're pretty worth beating. After all, they're high levels, they give a fair amount of EXP, and frankly, they're not too hard. You should have a pretty diverse team at this point, and frankly, you should be able to beat just about anything you find here with relative ease. Maybe you have to switch or something, but still, I mean, look at this. It's hand feeding us Onixes. And sure, I could just continue to use Sinks, and I will for now. But, I mean, if I had Lock in front, or heck, even Cabbage, this wouldn't be that bad. It'd effectively be free experience. Still, the boosted 994 is pretty darn good, which is kind of why I'm like, you can deal with them. Trainer fights are much better for our normal team members. Otherwise, let's take a look.
I wonder if you're good enough for me.
Well, based on the fact we both made it to Victory Road, I'd say we're both pretty darn good trainers. So, let's see what you're packing. Ooh, a full-on Persian. Nice. As you can see, even the Pokemon trainers here aren't all that level. Level 42? You should be expecting level 50 by this point in the game. Seriously, some of the Elite Four, they have Pokemon in the 50s and even 60s. And even the trainers here aren't pushing middle 40s to 50s. It's so strange that the EXP curve in this game is the way it is. I really don't know why it's that way. Like I said, you'd have thought on the way to, my goodness, from Cinnabar on the way to Pallet Town, that the trainers there would have been, I don't know, early 40s, mid 40s, and then everything in Viridian's gym should have been about, you know, approaching or comfortably within the mid 40s. Everything in here probably should have been 50s. I mean, look, I don't design the game, and heck, I've never designed a game, but you get the idea. It's weird that so many of the trainers just feel under-leveled and very underwhelming. I mean, seriously, if you went straight from Cinnabar, right up to Pallet Town, into Viridian, and then here, had we not stopped and farmed, I think our highest level would have been, what, 46? Which isn't phenomenal. Still, it makes you feel like you're right on curve when really you're very far behind. Otherwise, Lockroot level 51. Good job, buddy. He gains 4 HP, 2 attack, 1 defense, 3 special attack, 2 special defense, and 1 speed. Very nice. So yeah, I don't know. Just one of those things that having played this game so many times, I kind of notice, and it really irks me more than it probably should. It's weird that the game just kind of stops giving you a lot of experience at around level 40. I mean, heck, anytime I've casually played this game and gotten straight to the Elite Four, I've been not even to level 50. And I mean, look, it took me, what, 6 hours of using one of the most optimal farming areas in the game just to get everyone to level 50? It's kind of brutal. So, I don't know, maybe it's just a big carryover from the older generation, being a Generation 1 remake? I don't know. That's my guess. I feel like a lot of the newer games really deal with this a lot better and have EXP spread throughout a lot, I guess, more properly. So, I'm not sure. Granted, I will say, I did replay, what was it, Pokemon X recently, and I wanted to, I guess not challenge myself, but see how the game felt with the EXP all turned off, and it was kind of terrible.
I lost out.
Yeah, trust me, that's how I felt when I turned the EXP all off. I was losing out on EXP like you wouldn't believe. I mean, seriously, by the time I was to Victory Road in that game, I was level 50, which sounds phenomenal based on what we've seen here. But for that game, you're supposed to be mid-60s to level 70. So, you can imagine my surprise when here I am at what is essentially the end of the game, and my team is extremely underleveled. And I mean, seriously, you've seen how I've played this game. It's not like I've been slacking on purpose or anything. It's just that brutal of a curve. Especially because the game was made with that item in mind, and frankly, I have some very strong opinions on it. And, now's not the time to talk about it, but hey, here's TM02, Dragon Claw. This is a move that eventually is more or less custom made for Dragonite and other physical dragon users. A sharp, huge claw hooks and slashes the foe quickly and with great power. It's an 80 power dragon move with 100 accuracy and 15 PP. This is a phenomenal dragon type move, and frankly, it would be really great on Arthur if it wasn't a special attack. Because of Dragon being special for whatever reason, this move kinda isn't great in this generation. It's the same reason all the elemental punches and Pokemon like Flareon, Hitmonchan, and the rest really struggle. Otherwise, I believe, should we come back here, right there is a rare candy. So, you probably want to come back and move that boulder, especially because, I mean, hey, it's a free level on very high level Pokemon. You're not wasting your time. Otherwise, yes, Machoke, I see ya, I hear ya. I could blast you with Psychic, but no. In fact, if I'm being smart, I should really just apply a Repel. There we go. And go reset the puzzle, and then grab the other item just while I'm thinking about it. Because frankly, I'll probably forget, knowing me. So there we go. And unfortunately, if you reset, you're resetting the whole place. Switches to progress included. It's not phenomenal, but hey, if you want all the items, you should probably do it now rather than later. After all, the further you get into the dungeon, the more you'd be resetting. So I mean, if you made it all the way to the Indigo League, you can fly there, and I guess you could walk all the way back up here if you really wanted, but frankly, you may as well just do this now and get it out of the way. It's a lot easier. And besides, what? Took us like a minute? So hey, I'd say a minute of our time for a rare candy, that's plenty worth it. Otherwise, just come right over here, and you can open up a little shortcut, though it really doesn't do much for you. Though, a trainer battle certainly will. I can see you're good. Let me see exactly how good. Sure, sounds fun to me. Let's see what you're packing, friend. Cool, Trainer Rolando. Ooh, Eradicate. And yeah, again, at level 42. It's not terrible, but for the final dungeon coming up to what is the end of the main game, these Pokemon feel seriously underleveled. And granted, like I said, we went out of our way to go farm experience, but you just saw with our rival battle, he had what, a level 53 Charizard? So it's not like we were, way over leveled compared to him. It's not like we were level 60 or something. No, almost all of our Pokemon were under leveled. Sure, we do have Arthur's level 55, but he needed that to even evolve. So other than rare candies, we probably would have been about, what, level 50? If that, if I had done all the farming properly for Arthur too? Which, sure, I would have done it if I didn't have rare candies, but you get the idea. We still would have been, wow, oh my gosh, that smoke screen messed us up. But anyways, back on track. Even if we had farmed everyone to level 50 compared to the rival, we still would have been under-leveled. And let me tell you, by the time we get to the end of the Elite Four and fight the champion, we're going to be extremely under-leveled comparatively. It's insane. However, what's also insane is that Zinx grew to level 52. She gains 2 HP, 2 attack, 1 defense, 5 special attack, 2 special defense, and 3 speed. Not bad at all. So yeah, like I've mentioned more than once at this point, the EXP curve in this game is just all out of whack. I really don't know why they thought of it like that, but my only guess is that, it's just a carryover from when they first made the game. Otherwise, if I actually pay attention here, Inari, we need you to burn some Ivysaur. Please and thank you, gal. Ooh, I was going to say that sleep powder would have been really bad. Thank goodness it missed. Here, have a flamethrower. Still, for all the flaws that this game has, I still really like it. And to be fair, it offers a very unique experience on Pokémon. Compared to the newer games, you're seriously gonna have to switch up your tactics, especially if you know those games really well. It's strange thinking that, oh yeah, every single move of this type is one stat, meaning a Pokemon that uses that's normally good at it with, say, physical or special, may be really terrible at it in their first appearance because, hey, they weren't good at physical or special depending on what the move was. I mean, for instance, Ghost is physical. The only ghosts in this game are famous for their sky-high special attack. What's funnier is that Dark is special, and there are no Dark types in the game. So technically speaking, had we kept Bite on Locke, he actually uses his special attack for that, even though it's very clearly a physical move. It's just goofy things like that that really change Fire Red and Leaf Green, especially if you know later Pokemon. It's such a fun and different experience that honestly, if you've never had the chance to play these games legitimately, then maybe look into alternative methods of playing them. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Point is, I think these games are super fun and seriously worth playing. Though I can't recommend you stay away from Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu enough. Those games aren't very good, at least in my opinion. For a casual person who wants to just see Gen 1, by all means, if you like Pokemon Go's gameplay, sure. Otherwise though, for anyone who actually likes Pokemon for all the depth and battling, you're not gonna find it there. Especially if you play Let's Go Eevee and you find the most comically broken Pokemon in all of history. That Eevee is a monster. I had a chance. No, not really. Not at all. Still, frankly, we did a lot today. This is a bit of a longer episode and I hadn't intended it to be. Still, I had fun. As you can imagine, next time we play Pokemon Leaf Green, we'll continue through Victory Road and eventually find our way out and into the Indigo League. As always, I've been Brad. Thanks for watching and have a good one.